to save money on your next cruise? Whether you're looking to just stretch your travel budget or to see if you really got the best value, stick around as I'm going to show you 7 tips that will help you save money on your next cruise. Hi, I'm Angela from Grabby Bags Travel. I have been cruising for over 20 years and have sailed on 8 different cruise lines. I have helped hundreds of people save money on their cruise by implementing various tactics. So today I'm here in this video to show you some of those tactics that you can use before you sail and on board. Let's get started. When to book. When itineraries first get released, you will generally find the lowest prices. You will also have the advantage of picking the most desirable location for you. Now, when you do book so far in advance, most cruise line policies and promotions will allow you to reprice your bookings if the price should drop and you haven't applied your final payment yet. If that happens, you will also be subject to prevailing promotion conditions and may have to lose any perks you received under your original booking. For example, if you were to book a cruise and they were giving you a promotion of $500 onboard credit, and 6 months down the line, your price dropped $400. Well, you're also going to lose $500 credit, so that also means you're losing $100 in savings. So that may not necessarily be a good deal because the time of your new one doesn't include onboard credit. Another time to book is what the industry calls wave season. That is during the first quarter of the year, with your biggest sales coming in January and February. I have found many deals under those wave sales, but you also have to know your prices. Sometimes the cruise lines raise the prices before the holidays and then give you these sales, which aren't really sales. Black Friday sales also is something a lot of people tend to wait for to booking, but it's not necessarily the best time to book. Let me explain a recent example with you. So Celebrity had their Black Friday sales, which were giving bonus sales, and each weekend they were offering higher bonus sales as they got closer to Black Friday. So I had a couple of clients who wanted to go on the Equinox, and I decided to book them at the $250 bonus rate, which was a couple of weeks before Black Friday. And I said, okay, I'll just reprice it to the $400 that it was offering during Black Friday. However, remember, I do need to do it at prevailing rate. So I booked it at the $250 bonus rate, waited to the $400. Lo and behold, the cruise fare was so much higher that even with the $400 savings, it was higher than what we paid at the $250 savings. So I'm so thrilled I didn't wait exactly for Black Friday sales because we got a much cheaper rate just 2 weeks before. The other time you'll hear people saying they should book their cruises 90 days before the sailing, and that is within final payment of your cruise. And the reason for that is that people will either drop a lot of their sailings before final payment so they get their refund, they get their deposit refunded, or because life changes and they're unable to cruise. It is true that you might be finding cheaper cabins during that time frame. However, you must know that location will most likely not be the most desirable places because all the good spots are already taken. So if location is not a concern for you, this may be a good time to do it. Also realize you need to be flexible. So if you're looking to travel in the summertime because it's the only time you can get off, chances are you're not going to be finding too many vacancies on those ships because the summer travel time does sell out the most. Which brings me to our second tip. If you're looking to save a few bucks, consider a more undesirable location of cabins. Guaranteed cabins, which are cabins that will guarantee you a cabin in that category, but you let the cruise line pick your cabin. Cabin assignments can vary, but may not be assigned until a couple of days before sailing. Those cabins will be cheapest in your category, but if you want more control and choose a cabin, a cheaper cabin category will be in locations that are all the way in the front of the ship, the aft of the ship, which is the back of the ship, cabins with obstructed views. This is one example of a cabin with an obstructed view. The lifeboat is in front of the cabin. There are other ones where they have poles and other obstructed things in their view. You don't get a full view of the whole C. Choosing a cabin placed above or below public spaces may also be cheaper. If you do that one, try to look at your deck plan and see what kind of spaces are above or below you. For example, if you're choosing a balcony, selecting a cabin as perhaps above an art gallery or the shops will have less traffic in them than versus a location that is a cafe or the casino. Now, the third way you can save money on the cruise is working with a travel advisor. I am a travel advisor who specializes in cruises, so let me tell you what travel advisors can do for you. Besides trying to find the right cruise line and itinerary for you, we can often get special pricing on those certain sailings. And also may be able to get perks like onboard credit as well. Most of the time those pricing aren't good within 4 months of the sailing. So once again, book early for those best pricing. Agencies also sometimes get special perks for you, sometimes like prepaid gratuities or special dining. Watching promotions all the time, I often check if the price drops for you as well. So if you're interested in getting some price quotes for me, it's free, no obligation. Just look at the description below where you can email me or check out my website for further information.
Now, choosing the right itinerary will also help you save money on your cruise. Besides looking at the number of days in your itinerary, you should also look at the number of ports that you are visiting, as well as the popularity of those ports within the itinerary. All of these factors will help determine the cost of the cruise.
If you want to save money while sailing in the Caribbean, look at each of the Western and Eastern Caribbean itineraries to see which one will be cheaper. You will find one of them being a little bit cheaper, even though they have the same amount of ports. For right now, it's Western Caribbean's more money than the Eastern Caribbean.
You can also find cheaper cruises if you decide to sail on a repositioning cruise. A repositioning cruise is when a ship is changing their home ports for the new season. So you will start in one cruise port and then end in their new cruise port. With this, you will find more sea days, which in turn will result in a cheaper fare. If you have flexibility with your time, consider off-season and hurricane season sailings as well. But as I said, you need to just be more flexible with your time and any type of itinerary changes.
Now, if you say to me, Angela, why are these two sailings I'm looking at in Alaska have the exact same itinerary, same class of ships, but the port charges are different?
Why is that? Well, that does happen. Port charges are affected by many factors. And one of the things that you need to consider when you're looking at itineraries is the length of the time you're staying at the port. So the longer you stay at the port, the more charge there will be. And you will find that in the difference in the different cruise lines. Some cruise lines will stay at, let's say, Juneau for an hour longer than the one in Princess. To also save money on your cruise, you want to be mindful of promotion and discounted rates. Perfect for families, I have saved them thousands of dollars by utilizing the 3rd and 4th guest promotion rates. Now, oftentimes they will be for only children under 12, and they will be for certain times of the year. Usually it's when kids are in school, so like October and January. But with other cruise lines, they just have it for 3rd and 4th guests in general. So this does have a big savings attached to it. You also want to check out your cruise line's discounted promotional rates that they are offering. They will sometimes have senior rates, military rates, promotional rates for residents who are sailing out of the cruise port. Some cruise lines have it for teachers and first responders.
Another way to check for discounts or perks is with your loyalty club. If you are sailing a new line, join the club. Each line has different perks and benefits that can be great.
With Celebrity, after your first sailing, you can get a complimentary category upgrade up until Aqua Class, where there is space available. When you reach a certain tier with Royal Caribbean, you may qualify for a discount. MSC will give you a 10% discount if you book their itinerary 6 months before your sailing and you have sailed within 5 years.
On other lines, you might be entitled to personalized promotions. NCL has them a lot. Or you can have a free cruise or discounted prices on your onboard amenities or sometimes free perks. It varies, so join your clubs, check out what they're entitled to as you go up in the ranks.
onboard credits. Now, onboard credits is a type of cashback that the cruise lines give you to spend on board. You can use it toward many things like specialty restaurants or just any type of food, extra cost of food and drinks on board. You can use it for shore excursions, Wi-Fi packages, drink packages, gratuities, in the shops, at the spa, etc. There are a multitude of ways you can receive onboard credit. It can be from a promotion you booked. It could be a travel advisor able to getting you some onboard credit when you book. It could be your cruise line's credit card. When you take them out, they offer it as a bonus when you reach a certain amount of spending on the card. The loyalty programs I talked about earlier will also sometimes give you an onboard credit for your next sailing. And if you decide to book a next cruise on your cruise as an incentive, a lot of cruise lines will give you onboard credit, some very generous ones. These credits will save you money in the long run. So let me know in the comments some creative ways you have received onboard credit.
Shopping. Now, most cruise ships will have an array of shops for you to spend your money. From luxury products to souvenirs to everyday essentials, these shops will be open once you're in open water and will be duty-free. However, you should know your prices. Nowadays, with Wi-Fi connection, you may want to price an item you are interested in first on the internet to see if you are actually getting a deal. I do suggest you refer to those prices to make sure that you are getting a decent deal or a good deal, because you may not necessarily do so, especially when they're offering last-minute promotions. I have often found deals though on perfume and sunglasses, and by the help, as I said, by checking on the internet, I was able to confirm that it was a good deal. Now, one of the shops I could tell you're really not going to find a good deal are those everyday essentials. They are really overpriced, which is why I do suggest you bring as much of those items you may need as you can. Check out my video of 30 things you need to pack to help you decide what you want to bring for you. Also know that items that you purchase are duty-free up until $800 per person. If you spend over $800 per person, they will ask you to step aside and pay a tax on those items. There are so many money-saving tips that you could use when planning a cruise. What are some of yours? I would love to read them in the comments. And be sure to subscribe so that you can see more of my money-saving tips to help you plan your cruise. Thank you for watching. Happy cruising!